Ayo, little man Sam here, back at it again with another RBET deck profile, and this time we have Rich Silverberg, who got
Second place at RBET New York.
nice,
Got this nice JD and Dark Arm to show for it, and this
beautiful
really
cards.
cool.
Not Norealis.
Yeah, it's like, not Norealis, Matt.
We promise
sure.
it's not Skyscraper Norealis.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So I played Vayu Turbo. It's really similar to my list from Maryland that I got top 16 with. I played 41 cards there. I played 40 cards here, same 40, but -1. So
cool. Excited to see the differences.
Yep. So triple Vayu, triple Sirocco, Plague, and Necro, all your graveyard resource cards. And then the cards to get them into there are the Armageddon Knights and the Greffers, and then the Raikos with only one hamster.
Okay. Any thoughts on any of that stuff?
Yeah, I actually talked to OG99, the guy who won Maryland, and I think after talking to him, I probably want to go 2 hamster and bank on the dice roll a bit more for going first, because charge is nice going second, hamster's nice for going first. I actually won, I think, like 3 dice rolls, including my top cut, so I was really bad, and I was rolling like 8s and 9s and just losing dice rolls. It was so upsetting. 2 Caius, boss monster, necessary. And then you have some 1-ofs. You have Card Trooper, is a really good going second card also, so that's a good hedge for second. Gale, Chaos Sorcerer, this card is MVP. There was a long time I didn't play this card. After this event, I don't think I'll ever cut this card. Gores and Dark Arm for boss monsters. You might have to
replace it in with that ulti. Any thoughts on 2 versus 3 Kai's?
I actually played with 3 for a pretty long time, and then I messed around with 3 Kai's with 2 Sirocco to try and cut down on the brickiness of having 3 Kai's. If you play 3 Kai's, you definitely need the 2 hamster to capitalize on that a bit more. But I was bricking on Kai's a bit too often because you don't really want to like be sacking anything besides the hamster. Like, you don't want to summon an Armageddon Knight and then have it stick just to sack a Caius, because you're really not getting the card like advantage out of that. But you want like stacking Plague to sack for it. Doesn't really work unless you have like Return or Burial to like make a play off of that play.
Right.
So you just need other cards to make Caius really work. Caius at 2 is good. I don't think I would change that.
Word.
If anything, I might go to 1, to be honest.
Okay.
I won't, but I think I'd lean more towards 1 than 3.
Cool.
Those are all the monsters. Spells are just all the 1-ofs, so you have Heavy and MST, and then the Searchers, which are Rhoda and Charge, and then Allure, which actually helped unbrick me in one of my games I'll talk about later, and then Brain Control and Burial. So that's all the spells, 7 of them, all 1-ofs.
Cool.
All pretty broken individually.
Yes, they are.
Traps, we have like the standard 2 advantage gainer cards and Broken Trap Dust Shoot and Broken Return. Those cards are all limited to 1. 2 Bottomless, 2 Deep Prison, pretty standard. Some people go 3 Deep Prison. I don't hate it, but I went for a bit more 1-ofs instead. I went for 1 Oppression main and 1 Deck Devi main. So this is 40 cards. I ran all 40 at Maryland also. I main decked a DD Crow in Maryland. I did not main deck the Crow here. I don't know. It was nice spice, but I think a lot of people bringing frogs, and like DD Crow having 1-of is not the best against frogs. Like, you really need like multiple, and like I still don't even like DD Crow that much against frogs. Do you want to do side or extra deck?
Let's do the extra deck. Get that out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's really standard. Same 15 actually from Maryland too. So Army Arm, which I didn't do a lot of synchroing in Maryland. Here I did a lot more. I actually Colossal Army Armed for game 1 time, and then separately used Return to make an Army Arm and beat over Gores for game 2 as well.
Beautiful.
So Army Arm came in handy. Caster I never actually made. Brio I made a couple times. Goya I made a couple times. Black Rose I made off of like 2 different times. I went Return and then Synchro with Plague Sirocco to nuke the board and then get 2 Vayu activates to push for game. So that's the only 7-star. And then 8 stars, you have Stardust, Colossal, Thought Ruler, and Dark End. I think the only card I made out of all these 3 was Stardust, and I made it once.
Wow.
Then you have the Blackwing Synchros, 2 Armed Wing, 2 Armor Master, and then 1 Silverwind. And the last card is the Chimera Tech, which is, sneak peek into the sideboard a little bit.
So if I remember from your last deck profile you did with us, you didn't do that much synchroing. This, you did a little bit more synchroing. So maybe in the next tournament, If you do a little bit more synchroing, then you'll win.
I think last time it was no synchroing. This event I summoned every card except these 5. So
Gotcha.
you know.
Yeah. You summon Catastrophe next tournament, I get you. You'll win.
Yeah. Okay, sideboard.
All right, sideboard.
So the sideboard is different from Maryland.
Cool.
Some similarities, but some differences. So Cyber Dragon, I don't really want to draw both. With GBs popping up more, maybe I will consider a second again. But for now, 1 is fine, so I don't brick on it.
Did you ever get your ulti? I know you were looking for one.
No.
Oh, man.
I had an offer sent to me for one, but I was actually planning to sell this entire deck and just move on after this event.
Fair enough.
And we had to go to a separate location, play it out, and there's nobody there at the end of the tournament to buy my cards. So I guess I'm.
I guess you can keep it.
I guess I'm gonna keep playing. Yeah. 2 Kaiku. Most people play this at 1. I like it at 2 as a going second card. So if I'm going first, I'll put the 1 in. But if I'm going second, I'll have a second Kaiku just to have a better chance of drawing it. Strictly for the mirror matchup, I mirror. So when I see an opening Greffer and opening Armonite, I could just summon a Kaiku and really force them to use something that I don't want them to use, say on like my Siroko's or something. 2 Dynas, mostly for frogs. And I guess plants are kind of making a resurgence. And then we have 1 DD Crow inside. I don't want to have 2 because I don't really want to brick on it that much. I bring it in against any Plague Spreader deck. So like Mirror Match, it comes in sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I don't know. It's something I'm not the biggest fan of Crow at 1 at multiples. But playing it at 1, you could really like stop a Plague Spreader play, which basically wins you the game.
Yes.
So I like it at 1. And for like Dragon Turbo, which I'll talk about later, I did play a Dragon Turbo deck. So like cards like that when they try and like Avarice or they try and like Magical Stone something bad.
Yeah, obviously the inherent problem with Crow is it being a -1. If you can go even while crowing, then negates that.
Exactly. And yeah, with Plague, it's like basically even +1 because they're stopping their draw phase.
Of course, yes.
Only 1 spell in sideboard, Mind Control, and this is just for other Hamster Raikou decks. I can't think of anything else I put it in against besides like Mirror Match and like other random Hamster Raikou decks. Traps, we have the Second Oppression, triple Dust Tornadoes, a Starlight Road, a second Deck Devastation Virus, ugly common looking one.
It's okay, it's the side deck version.
Yeah, and then 2 Pulling the Rug. So these were not in the sideboard until the day before. I put them in because I started looking at and thinking more hardly about like my matchup specifically against Dreamfrog that I had with James Ark, and I lost 1 game because he was just like Caius looping me, and I didn't have outs for that, so I was top decking like trying to get out of a Caius loop, and this really stops that really well. I don't know. There's been a bit more DV Hero recently too, so this is not as good against DV Hero as you would think, but it's pretty good. I sided in against DV Hero. I side 1 in usually, and if I'm going first, I'll side in both.
Yeah, I think a True Hero just came out with a video, and in that video he talked about how you would think Pulling the Rug is good against DV Hero, but it's actually not.
It's good.
It's good, but not as good as you think.
It's not as good as you think. Yeah. So like the thing is like when they make Stardust really early, so like this is like Stardust can't negate this. So when they go with their Caius, you could stop their Caius and their Diva and like all the follow up. The thing is if they use the Diva to make the Stardust, like what are you hitting then at that point?
Right.
Like,
cool.
And they side out of their Armonite sometimes with a DDV. So
nice. So you want to go into your matchups?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Round 1, I played a Vayu mirror match. And it's hard to even call it a match actually. Like I opened with DD. So game 2, I don't remember game 1 that well, but I did win game 1. I won 2-0 in round 1. But game 2, he opened with like a set monster and pass, and I had DDV Sirocco in my hand. So I set DDV, set Sirocco, and then passed back to him. In his standby phase, I flipped DDV and I hit 5 cards, including his set Raikou. And he set a back row and passed. 2 of the monsters I sent were Plague Spreader and Necrogardna. I summoned Kaiku and successfully attacked through and banished both of those, and the game was over. He top decked a Dad and then a Gores, and I just played around the Gores and won the game. Round 2, I played another Vayu Mirror. I won that 2-0 also. I think my opponent was new to the deck because he was kind of like reading his own cards a little bit. Not sure what happened there. Round 3 was against Glad Beast, which was, I forget his first name, but his last name's Murray. He went undefeated in Swiss, which means he beat me 2-1. Game 3, I opened triple Vayu. My actual opening hand, I remember because it really was so bad. It was triple Vayu, Burial, Deep Prison, and Dust Tornado. Yeah, so I never drew that entire match. I never drew, or the entire game 3, I never drew a monster that was normal summon or settable other than those Vayus, so you cannot win against GBs like that. Then I played 3 Blackwing players in a row. I 2-0'd the first 2 and 2-1 the last one. I played Dragon Turbo in round 7. I 2-0'd him. He bricked really hard game 1, and then game 2 he kind of bricked, but I had Dust Shoot going second, and I Dust Shooted him after he had passed his turn and took out his only defensive card, Tragodia, and then OTK'd him. It wasn't OTK, it was like a 2-turn, but he couldn't do anything.
Nice.
Round 8, I played another Vayu Mirror against Antoine, who top 8'd at Maryland and top 16 this event also, and he actually knocked me out of Maryland in top 16, so we had like a grudge match. We go to game 3, and I misplayed and lost because of my misplay. He used Return, and I had a Burial set. I could have used Burial to turn his Return into a dud, and I was just too tired and not thinking hard enough and let it resolve and lost the game. Didn't lose that turn, but like lost because I didn't do that because he had no follow-up. Finished, that was Swiss, so I finished 11th, which was the 3rd highest X2 finisher. Pretty good. I don't remember what I finished at Maryland, but I think this was higher than that. I think Maryland was like 13 or something. So top 16, I played against a skill drain hero beat deck with like the Gemini Lancer. Like I had never seen that deck before. I didn't know what to do. Game 1, this is one of the few dice rolls I won, and I opened absolutely broken. Like I have like Brain Control, Heavy, Greffer, Vayu. He wasn't winning. Game 2 was a bit more back and forth. He had an opening board of like 2 in hand, a back row, and then an Ab Zero and a Thunder King on board. But I opened Brain Control.
And that'll do it.
You just, it was not, it was like he couldn't do anything. It wasn't like so much like he did anything wrong. So that was top 16. That locked in top 8, which got me my Ruler's Invite and this mat.
Beautiful.
Then, as you know, like the venue closes, we all move to the the construction zone looking place, which was like kind of epic. Like it was kind of like a battleground thing, like Keegan said in one of his videos. Like it felt like underground kind of gaming. It was interesting.
That will be a store one day.
It will be a real store, but the underground vibe was pretty cool. So there we go into top 8, and I played against a Hero Frog player who had apparently just recently topped some larger event. In Chicago, I think it was. I actually lost the dice roll, but still Dust Shooted him in game 1 and saw he Stratos for Ocean, and when I Dust Shooted him, I don't know how I remember this stuff, but he had Ocean, Alias, triple Miracle Fusion, and Gorse.
Wow.
So I send back the Ocean, killing all 3 of his Miracle Fusions basically, and just had to play around Gorse the whole game. So I used Gale and some other cards to try and bait it out, and eventually just won that game. He never saw Frog in game 1 or 2. I won that 2-0. So top 16 I win 2-0, top 8 I win 2-0, and like I asked him after, I was like, are you playing like frogs? He never summoned a frog, saw a frog.
You couldn't even tell.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Top 4, I played against DD Hero, which is like a good matchup for my deck. I drew really badly both games. I'm sorry, all 3 games, but still won. I think that's just a testament to the matchup being pretty favorable for me. Game 3 got a little dicey, got into like a top deck war kind of, but I had a good amount of power cards left in my deck still, so I was just like waiting and waiting. Eventually I got one of them, which is Burial, and was able to put it away.
Nice.
Then we go to the finals. I played against a GB player. I unfortunately lost, but it sucks losing the finals. But I was so tired. I said it on stream, or not on stream, I guess in the recorded video, that I was so tired. I wasn't even nervous. Like we were playing for Triple Kai's, which is like almost like $3,000, I guess.
Right.
And there was no nerves. Like I just felt like this was a game. Like I'm sitting here in my kitchen playing a game of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it was nonchalant. But
that's what happens when you play like 12 hours plus of Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah, like plus. Like I woke up at 8 a.m. to get to the venue in time, and I'm still playing Yu-Gi-Oh. It's 2:15 when the final starts.
That's crazy.
If I drew this card in games 1 or 3, I win for sure.
You were telling me about this. Why don't you go a
Okay,
little bit about it?
so I just finished actually watching the replay because this is the next day. I was way too tired to do any deck profiles after
Right.
the tournament, and my brain capacity was at 0. So game 1, you could go back and watch replays and pay attention to the back row. He goes summon Aquari, set 3 pass. Those 3 cards ended up being compulsory evacuation device, trap stun, and war chariot. So he had no protection, and I had seen him do this throughout the event. Set 3, even 4 back rows with no protection. He was playing reckless and or bluffing the Starlight Road, because I mean, I get a player like me, I guess, like, or a player who like is thinking on another level, is aware that, okay, this is either Starlight Road or Solemn. He's on that probably 1 but maybe 2 Starlight Road and 1 Solemn, so it's way more likely to be Road. So heavy storming into this is just putting you further behind. So most people don't do it. But having seen him do this multiple times, that changes my opinion. I would 100% slam a heavy into 3 back row against this specific player, because I had seen him do it. I had seen him do it 3 times. So against me, that was actually the 4th that I got to witness. So I don't have Heavy Storm. I can't win the game. It was a very like non-game in game 1. Game 2, Ancient Forest kind of really stalled me out. Like, I think I got like bashed a little bit online for not like just pressing the game a little bit harder. But if I press the game harder and I hit into a Mirror Force, I just lose the game. So I'd rather play it slow and have a back and forth game than, all or nothing right now.
But don't forget, you came in second, and all the people online didn't. So
that's true. Yeah.
Don't listen to what everyone says.
True. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect though. Right. I try and think about losses a little bit sometimes. Game 3 is very similar to game 1. He goes summon Aquari, set 3 back row. Once again, we have 3 back row. I don't draw heavy, and I once again would have slammed it if I drew it. Those 3 back row ended up being Deprison, Trap Stun, and Mirror Force. So I actually summon Sirocco, attack his Laquari. It gets deprisoned. I set 2 back row and pass. My back rows are Mirror Force and Oppression. He has 2 back row. He goes summon a GB. I forget which one it is, but it was one of the larger ones. It was like a Quest or Darius or something like that. And he goes attack with one of them, and I go Mirror Force, and he goes Trap Stun. So now I know he doesn't have Road. So I was like, so that last card is probably a Solemn, or he's just reckless again. It's anything. So, but at this point I know it's not. It's probably not bottomless, because he would have bottomless my Sirocco instead of using the Deprison. It's probably not another battle trap because he used Deprison. Why would he set 3 recklessly if there's 2 battle traps? This is my thought process going into it. So my turn, he has 1 back row. He uses his bestie to pop my 2nd back row to the Oppression. So I'm looking at a field of 1 back row unknown with the reads that I just gave you, and then a Laquari and a Bestiari. I go summon Greffer, pitch Vayu, send Sirocco, make an Armed Wing, and then I'm going to try and clear both monsters. I think if this goes through successfully, like if that's a Road or something like that, or a Solemn, he didn't flip on the Greffer, I gain severe momentum back in this game, and I think I have a really good chance of winning. And it ended up being Mirror Force. So he set 2 battle traps going first into a Heavy Storm potential. 15% chance to open Heavy Storm in your opening hand. So that's, you run the odds, and, if you want to take the risk, you take it. That's the game we play.
Exactly. Well, congratulations on your 2nd place finish. Big, in my opinion, obviously you didn't win the tournament, but it's a dub in my book. Yeah. Definitely worthy of the achievement. Do you want to give any final shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to all the people that I tested with. A lot of the Little Man guys, actually. Adam and Matt and Glick, who actually played in the tournament. Drew returned both games against him. Felt bad about it.
We don't have to feel bad about it.
So all those people and anyone else who reached out to me online after to congratulate me. One specifically, OG99, super nice guy. He won Maryland, and we've been in a little bit of contact since then. And he's a really great Vayu player too. And shout out to you guys for filming this video and all those who watch.
Hell yeah, man. Well, again, congratulations. And we're at 18 minutes, so we're going to sign out. But see you at the next big event, man. Have a good one.